Good morning, everyone. I hope you're having a good Wednesday, having a nice Wednesday so far. Let's see, what have I done? I did my tutoring, which didn't go as well as last week, but sometimes there's issues. Computer issue this morning, but we got it straightened out. And then I worked out for an hour, so feeling good and strong. And later, Rick and I are gonna go out and get some things done. So good day. And it is time for story time with Miss Paula. So let's say hi to all our friends out there. Hi Sodi, hi Vicente, hi Trey, hi Brian, hi Carl, hi Callum, hi Alexandra, hi John, hi Jackson, hi Evan, hi Eric, hi Anthony, hi Vincent, hi Kaylee, hi MJ, hi Leo, hi Eason, hi Woody, hi Jack, hi Nora, hi Meadow, hi Milan, hi Rory, hi Jake, hi Emmy, hi Evelyn, and hi Joe in Arizona. And hi to everyone else who's watching. And if you want me to mention you by name, ask me in the comments and I will. Today's book is The Five of Us by Quentin Blake. And it looks like a bunch of pictures on green pages, and I love green. That's one of my favorite colors. The other is orange. The Five of Us. The Five of Us by Quentin Blake, and Quentin Blake is the author. He wrote the words for the story. And it's dedicated for Loopy and Corky. Once, not very long ago and not very far from here, there were 5 friends. Their names were Angie, Ollie, Simona, Mario, and Eric. They were all fantastic. I had to turn it, I can't see. Angie could see a sparrow sitting on top of a statue 5 miles away. She was amazing. Ollie could hear it sneeze. Tissue! He was amazing. Simona and Mario were so strong they could lift anything you could think of. They were amazing. Eric was just as amazing, but you will find out how later on. On the day of the outing, they all set off in the yellow bus. Big Eddie was driving. Soon they were in the country. Angie could see a sheepdog sitting on a wall miles away. Ollie could hear it bark. Woof, woof. Simona and Mario lifted Eric up so that he could look out at the top of the bus. He said, They drove further and further up into the hills until they found a good place to eat their sandwiches. They had banana sandwiches, egg and tomato sandwiches, and cheese and pickle sandwiches. Angie said, I love banana sandwiches. Ollie said, cheese and pickle are my best. Simona said, yum, yum. Mario said, I could